So initially, I basically got into duck hunting first. That was the very first step to the love of turning calls and making the art that I make. So, first got introduced to it by some friends that wanted to go out and duck hunt, and just kind of fell in love with it because I grew up hunting all my life, and I'm not one to just sit quietly in a deer blind or anything like a lot of folks do. I like to be up and moving around and talking and everything, and so whenever I first got introduced to duck hunting, that was the main part of it. You had fellowship with friends while also getting to hunt at the same time. You only had a few seconds that you had to really, kind of quiet down, hunker down whenever the birds were starting to work in. And you had a lot more excitement, and it was just a fun environment to be around. You get to see, dogs working, of going and picking up birds, to hearing the quacks and everything and making the sounds that the ducks are making. It was just always, it just intrigued me a lot. So I got into that, and I started learning how to call, which is, it's basically a musical instrument. It's not just something that you pick up and you just push a button and it just starts working for you. You really have to learn how to blow in a duck call. So it's just like a musical instrument. So learning how to actually make the sounds, make the appropriate sounds was something that I learned first. And then from there I started looking at the calls and thinking, I could make one of these. I've seen videos on how to make them. Having one in my hands, it's relatively simple. I was like, why not give this a try? So I found a lathe that was used for sale for relatively cheap that was nearby with a couple tools and some turning wood, and said, why not? So I gave it a shot, went and picked up the lathe and everything, and that's where the business all started. And I get the name, the J&D, from Jeremy and my chocolate lab named Dozer. As me and him would be sitting out in the garage turning some duck calls at night, and that's kind of where it all began. So the general making of a duck call, it's a relatively simple item. It looks like one initial piece, but it actually comes apart. In this call, I actually won second place in that competition at Reelfoot, the Reelfoot Lake competition that they have out there, where you make a call, you send it in. There's a person that blows the call, and there's judges that judge based on how the call sounds. So it's two initial pieces. You have the barrel and you have the insert. The insert basically has a piece in there that's think of a clarinet. It has a little piece of mylar that's your reed, and I don't know if they can hear that on there, but it makes even just a little noise, just flicking the reed just a little bit. But then from there, it breaks down even further, and so you have a simple piece of cork, and you have a simple piece of mylar, is all that is. And one of the main things is knowing how to put the reed in. So if you take it and you bend it, it'll bend the exact same way every single time. So you take and you make sure that bend piece goes down, push it all the way to the back, and also with the insert, you have what's called a tone channel and a tone board. Your tone board is actually what helps make the sound, along with the tone channel. So then it also comes out to a board end piece, which is called your so it comes through the exhaust port. So it comes out of the exhaust port, and that's where it amplifies your sound. So depending on how bored out the exhaust port is, depends on how loud your call can be. So you put the reed inside there, and you push it all the way to the back, and then you take your piece of cork, and it just wedges inside there. So that makes your insert, which then goes back inside the barrel, which then makes your sound. And that's how you call in some ducks. So you basically, it would be like I was referring to a clarinet. You have the different keys and everything that you play on the clarinet, where you have your hands sitting in certain positions. And as you close off different ports, or as you push certain buttons, it closes certain things. So they say, you put it in your hand and you just kind of make a C cup. And as you make that C, you open it, and you can even move your fingers, and it just kind of makes different sounds on there. And even how you put the call up to your mouth depends on how it can sound. So you generally put it up, they say, like you're drinking a Coke. So you just kind of put it to your lips and then come up. And I mean, you can make muffled sounds. So it just changes the different pitch and kind of closes some of it off, opens some of it up, and really it can change how your calling is. It can go from sounding great to actually giving them if you close it off too much and quack with it, it can actually tell the bird that there's danger and to fly away. So there's different cadences and different sounds that you can make to bring birds in or to push them off.